Hi, welcome to another edition of the MEYLE Mechanics. I'm Torsten.
And I'm Jan.
Today we're going to show you how to do a professional replacement of a second-generation wheel hub.
And we're going to show it with this MEYLE hub. The great thing about this wheel hub is that it comes with a full set of accessory parts, such as axle nut, ABS plug, flinger ring, and of course the wheel hub.
So now we're at the car. We've already lifted it onto the platform and jacked it. First of all, we're going to remove the axle nuts with an impact wrench.
If you work in pairs but didn't happen to have an impact wrench at hand, one of you can sit in the car and depress the brake pedal, while the other slackens the axle nut using a long ratchet. Now I'm going to slacken the axle nut and remove the anchor plate to be able to get at adjacent parts, like for example the ABS sensor, the ball joint and tie rod end, and loosen them too.
Try to make the job as easy as possible. Loosening all fixed points of the wheel carrier will make things a lot easier for you. When you take off the ABS sensor, make sure not to break it or damage it with the pliers. Jan has already removed all the nuts. Now let me try to remove the joints from the guides. No problem at all for the tie rod end, but the ball joint calls for the extractor tool.
Einmal leider einen Ausdrücker für verwenden.
Okay, I've applied the joint puller. And now I'll start to put pressure on the extractor with a 17mm via this spindle here.
Über diese Spindel hier.
Mission accomplished. There you are. In the next step, I'm going to force the drive shaft out of the wheel carrier. All fixed points have been loosened. Now we can start pulling the wheel hub off the wheel carrier.
We've done a little bit of cleaning and applied the special wheel hub pulling tool. Torsten, would you give it some pressure with the hydraulic spindle? Let's get going. What you've just heard was the snap ring bursting. That was the hardest part. The rest is easy.
So, the wheel hub is out. But before we install the new one, we need to scrub and clean the carrier. The next step is to use sandpaper to clean the area.
And we're doing this because it'll make press fitting the new hub a lot easier. So we're using the sandpaper to polish the surface and make it really smooth. Then Torsten will put a dab of grease on the inside of the axle carrier and of the wheel bearing housing.
To clean the axle carrier, we have prepared sandpaper with different grid sizes. The more thorough the cleaning, the easier it will be to fit the hub. As you can see, we've already positioned the new hub, also using the new special tool. When you use it, make sure it is aligned in parallel, such that the wheel bolts are fastened at approximately the same depth or length.
If you try to force the hub in without a special tool, you will apply the press-in force directly on the flange and damage the hub even before it's on properly. And it won't last for more than 300 kilometers. The reason is, when you press-fit the hub via the flange, forces are transmitted to the ball and outer ring, and this will permanently damage the raceways of the outer ring. When you use the special tool, you can be sure that when you press the hub in, you will only apply force to the outer ring. It is positioned here, on top of the circlip, using two split shells, and by applying force slowly and gradually to the outer ring, the hub is pressed into the wheel bearing housing. Torsten is going to operate the hydraulic press we're using to press-fit the hub carefully into the guide in the wheel bearing housing. It's important to continue pressing until you hear the circlip snap into place. If you use a nut to apply force manually on the spindle, instead of hydraulic pressure, it's important to know that it will take a lot of initial force to push the wheel hub from adhesion to sliding. Once you've overcome that point, it'll slip-slide into place easily.
Danach wird das ganz von selbst funktionieren.
As you can see, we've already removed the special tool, as the wheel hub has been correctly installed in the wheel hub carrier. The next step is to reassemble the wheel carrier. This is basically what we did earlier, though in reverse order. The first thing to do, therefore, is to reinsert the drive shaft back in the wheel carrier. Then we'll reconnect all fixed points of the wheel carrier and tighten them down. The last thing to do is torque down the drive shaft nut. That's what we're doing now. Remember to observe the manufacturer's specifications at all times.
Pedals depressed.
For those of you requiring a new wheel hub, check out our website to find the right part quickly. Simply go to www.meyle.com. That's all from us. Thanks for watching, and see you again next time.
See ya.